For more than 3 decades, 32 years in fact, the Center for Asian American Media has been presenting a festival of, well, the very best in Asian film. Here tonight to talk about it is Masashi Niwano of the festival. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So 32 years.
I know, it's going by very quickly.
Clearly you weren't there when they started.
No, but I have been part of CAAM for about 12 years,
Yeah.
but not 32.
So what does it take to get into the festival?
Oh, that's a great question. There's, as a filmmaker, I think if you make a story that is honest, that is authentic, and that really tells a story that is not regularly seen, that's something that we're very interested in. And then on our side, as far as programming, you know, we have about 40 screening committee members, and we're really looking for a diversity, and we're really looking for a festival that showcases as many different communities, as many different types of storytelling, art as possible.
Right. So how broadly do you spread the blanket or the kimono, maybe, to include Asian culture? I mean, for instance, I remember last year when the Asian Art Museum did an exhibit called Maharaja, there were some people who said, well, that's not really Asian.
Right.
Is it?
Well, I think so. I think for us, when we use Asian and Asian American, we try to be as broad as possible because, you know, for us, I'd rather have people complain that we were too inclusive versus being not inclusive enough. And so when we do program, we do think of East Asia, Southeast Asia, South Asia, and of course, we actually even include films from the Middle East. And like I just said, I'd rather have people complain that our programming is too broad than, you know, we're really just focusing on China or on India.
Right.
We really do want a festival that showcases, because if you look at the Bay Area, there's such diversity within the Asian American communities that we want a festival that whoever you are, you can look at it and go, oh, I want to see that. That's something that I never get to see. Now,
your presence here, excluded, what is the confluence of the gay experience and the Asian or Asian American experience in this festival?
That's interesting. When I, you know, as far as kind of, well, myself being queer and Asian American and being proud of that, when I'm programming or working with our programming team, we really do think about all the communities, and that includes the LGBT community, and making sure that when we're playing films, not only do we have filmmakers who are LGBT in the festival, that's really important, but we also have films that represent the LGBT community, and we really do try our best to include as many different parts there. And then we also have films that may not be made by queer Asian Americans, but that have interests in there. And I do think, as far as myself, my friends, and the community, there is this kind of tied together interest in culture and kind of curiosity that I find in the LGBT community. And I think there is this fascination and exploration of international stories and learning more about people.
Right. You know, I'm going to ask you a question that probably is, well, you know, the clueless white guy will ask it. I saw the other night on TV a movie that I had heard about for years and actually seen snippets up over the years, but it was on Turner Classic Movies, uninterrupted, a movie that's as old as I am, 52 years old, Flower Drum Song. Yeah. I understand that that is still considered a controversial film in the Asian community. Why is that?
You know,
I mean, I think I know the answer, but from your perspective.
I think when you look at films, especially from decades ago, especially before there was this rise of Asian American filmmakers telling our stories, I think each one of those films, whether it's Breakfast at Tiffany's, whether it's Flower Drum Song, or, you know, a lot of the Bruce Lee films, I think you have Asian Americans, half of the Asian Americans who say, you know, this doesn't represent who I am, and it actually kind of commercializes or objectifies my experiences. And then you have other Asian Americans who say, you know, although there might be problematic moments, that's the only visuals that we see. And there is something, it's better to have some representation than no representation. And, you know, I think Flower Drum Song is actually pretty unique because it is this kind of flashy musical, and aside from the film itself, it has a lot of theater plays since then. And I think there is, you know, at our fest, we've actually played it a couple of times throughout the decades.
And what's the reaction?
It's mixed. I mean, I think you have people who celebrate it, and, you know, it's an Asian American musical, and you don't get to see that every day. So there are people who appreciate it for what it was and are able to put it within its time period. And then you still have people who look at it and go, this is problematic. And this is the reason why we have independent Asian American filmmakers making more authentic stories.
Yeah, but I mean, how many drag queens have Nancy Kwan
to
thank for singing I Enjoy Being a Girl?
And that's my response to everybody.
But now, you know, that sort of film experience is not what we're talking about in the festival. I mean, have we moved to a point where, whether it's Asian American film or LGBT film or Jewish film or Arab film, can be considered mainstream film? Yeah, i.e., is there still a need for CAAM Fest?
I think so. I think that as we move forward, I think it's a sign of success for there to be so many LGBT movies in the mainstream or on HBO or wherever. There's also a lot of Asian Americans who, because of film festivals, because they were able to create buzz, career of filmography, they're now in Hollywood and making films. And if you come to our festival, you have this diversity of films that are more mainstream, and we're acknowledging the fact, I think, especially with Asian Americans, there's a lot of films out there, like, for example, the Lego movie that's coming out, produced by an Asian American. A lot of these stories that people don't know, that when we play them at our festival, it's a different context. It's talking about the Asian American experience through these mainstream films. On the other side, we still do have a lot of independent works that are being made, and these stories that that are hard to make into mainstream film. When you're talking about immigration, when you're talking about refugees, when you're talking about kind of these family dynamics that aren't so happy ending-ish, you need independent cinema. And so that's what a festival is important for, as far as getting a breadth of work out there.
Right, right.
Yeah.
How influential is CAAM Fest in other markets? I mean, whether it's the Asian American experience or the LGBT experience, the San Francisco is kind of a bubble.
Yeah.
I mean, when I go to Richmond, Virginia to see my family, they're like, wow, there's gay films? Or, this is a city that, has very few Asian Americans in it, as opposed to San Francisco, which is 35%. Yeah. Are we still an envelope pusher artistically for the Asian American experience?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the best part, and the reason why I live in the Bay Area, is we are a bridge, and we are a bridge in so many different ways. And our festival, I hope, is a bridge, especially from here to Asia. And so a lot of films that come from Asia, we are that launching point.
Right.
So that is what really excites me. And our festival, we have so many international films that, since we have this connection and this closeness, we're able to launch so many films into the American market.
Right. And one of the films I think is going to be launched, I think there's a very exciting film that's going to be your opening night show. It's called, what is it?
How to Fight in 6-Inch Heels. Yeah.
Is this one of the gay films or not? I'm just wondering.
Oh yeah, I mean the title itself is pretty gay, but yes, it's actually Vietnam's #1 box office hit in 2013, made by Asian Americans who have now live in Vietnam. It's actually kind of a very fascinating story, and it shows how Asian Americans can have box office success if given that opportunity. So yes, it's super gay, and it's about this neurotic fashion designer in New York who goes to Vietnam because she thinks her fiance is cheating on her, and while there accidentally becomes Vietnam's it girl and a big supermodel. It's very much Devil Wears Prada. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of queer characters and a lot of cast who are queer who are behind it. And it's playing at the Castro Theater on March 13th. We're going to do a red carpet. This is the U.S. premiere of the film. And after us, they're hoping to go theatrical. So again, talking kind of about that bridge. We are that launching point. And this is just one example of a lot of films. Last year, we had a documentary called Insanity that we launched and did significantly well throughout the year. And we're hoping this has that similar buzz and success.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing it. If people want to go online and learn more, they can go to
caammedia.org, CAAMEDIA.org.
Now, in our last 10 seconds, tell me, do you or do you not like Flower Drum Song?
I love it. I mean, I love musicals. I love Asian Americans doing their thing in a musical.
So now I don't feel so guilty as I did before.
No, you shouldn't feel so guilty.
Thank you. We've been speaking about the CAAM Fest upcoming festival. I'm David Perry. Thanks for watching 10%. See you next week.